So let's give a great applause for Bart.
Yo, yeah, my first time ever doing something like this, so give me a break. First of all, like, who here is 30 plus years old? Yeah? All right, awesome. So the rest of you are younger, that's perfect. I would like to share with you my career for the last, I don't know, 15 years or so in work and how I got to where I am today and the stuff that I learned along the way that I can share with you. So maybe for you it will be easier in your career when you reach similar points to help you. If you're 30 plus, then I'm sorry. So we're here anyway. By the way, tomorrow is Pablo's birthday. He's gonna be 17. How old are you getting? How old are you? 20? Oh wow. All right. So this guy is like decade younger than me. How cool is that? Anyway, so my story. If you have questions along the way, just ask. If you have questions along the way, just ask. I'm happy to answer or give like more explanation about things. Nice. So yeah, you have a question? Sorry?
What's your age?
30 from 86, sir. Yeah.
You look so young.
Thank you. I'm being gamed already. So I started when I was 14 years old. I was playing real money poker in high school. It was my first time I was exposed to gambling for real money. Of course, we got in trouble with that. It didn't last long, but I experienced my first real money gambling thing. And then when I was 16 years old, I watched Ocean's 11 on TV. And I saw George Clooney and Brad Pitt being like super cool in the casino and stuff, and I said, okay, I want to do that. So I found my passion, quite early on. And then when I was 18, 19 years old, some friends invited me to a poker game. We didn't really know the rules, but we were having some drinks, we were playing real money poker, and I won. So it was my first, real experience in gambling. So I went home. And I said, holy shit, this is awesome. I mean, I always liked money, it's, it's what it is. This was like an entertaining game to deal with money. So I went home and I went to the internet and I searched like how to play poker, like, getting better at this. And I did, some research, like message boards, like forums were very big then, like YouTube didn't exist yet. So I started watching like some other guys playing. I signed up to some poker websites, and then a couple weeks later, those guys did another poker game. So I came back, and I told them like, guys, there's so much research. This was awesome. Like I learned so much. It's cool. And they laughed at me. They were like, what? Do you think you cannot beat us? Like stuff like that. And that was like my first big thing I learned. That was like, in order to get good at something or to learn something, the first thing you have to do is admit to yourself that you don't know it yet. And it sounds very straightforward, and I guess, the fact that you guys are here is, you kind of know that already. But in business and in life, this is like huge. Like so many people who get, say, promoted to management, for example, they see it as a reward for the work they've done before, and they don't see it as like level 2 and now I have to start all over again and learn all these things to get good at this. So never stop learning was something very big I learned. So I continue playing poker, lots of poker, and I get active in the community, like online forums, like that's a little bit like this RSD thing, you get to know some people, you go to the events, you do some networking, all of that. And then some guy was looking for poker dealers in the casino and events. And he posted on the forum, you had to come to Ghent one night to do an introduction, to get a training, and to learn how to become a poker dealer and get that as like a student job, like we all do. I was working in a bar for €8 per hour and a hotel as well. And this guy was giving €14 per hour. So I told all my friends, like, guys, this is awesome. Like, this guy's paying 14 euros per hour for like a badass job in the casino. Like, let's do this. So the day came, I had to go to Ghent. I came early. I dressed nice. I wanted to make good impressions. So I had this job because I thought there would be so many people there. And guess what? I was the only person there. Like, there was nobody else even showing up. So that's the second big thing I learned. Like, sometimes all it takes is showing up. Like, all those other friends that after that were jealous at my cool job, all they had to do was show up. And even after I told them, like, actually, he's looking still for people. Like, just call this guy and say you want to work for him, and you have the job. It's so easy. But it takes a little bit. So that was another thing I learned. So anyway, at that point, I'm playing a lot of online poker as well, and I dropped out of college because I was playing a lot of online poker, and I was working a lot as a student for this poker guy, and I got like a normal day job, like some boring admin kind of job. And on the side, I was also working for this guy still in his poker business. So we were doing events, we were working in the casinos, like all the big poker tournaments in Belgium, all of those things. I was organizing those, and it was a lot of hard work. Like hustle didn't really exist yet, but that's definitely what it was. I was working evenings, weekends, all my holidays. It was all work for this guy. And then he got a job at the biggest poker website in the world at that time. So I took over his entire events business while still doing my other full-time job. At the same time, I was working for a poker news website. So I was making reports from events in Europe. And I got to know another company, like an online poker company, and their staff, and they were really cool people. They were working in London, and it seemed really cool. And at some point, I was a little bit stuck in my other career. It was a little bit boring, not really going anywhere. I was working so hard, not really making so much money as well. And at that point, this other website was looking for a VIP manager for Belgium. So that job was you had to entertain the biggest gamblers from that website and travel the world with them and make sure they were happy. And you had to, basically the requirements were you have to speak English, Dutch and French, you have to be willing to move to London, and you have to know online gambling. I bluffed about the French, but I got the job and I moved to London. And as I say this, it sounds very simple, just move to London. But truth is, like, I had just bought a flat in Antwerp, I had just bought a brand new car, all those things. I sold the car, I lost so much money on that. I rented out the flat, and the flat that was brand new, built for me. And I moved to London to a house with 3 strangers that was like really, really shitty, like mouses and whatever, not nice. But so I took a big step back, and I took a huge gamble, not having any kind of degrees, college degree or university degree, and joining this gambling company in London. It sounds a little bit dodgy, but maybe it was. Anyway, as I joined this company, it was an awesome job. Get to travel a lot. I spent like time in the Caribbean islands, and just making sure everybody has beers. Like, that was my job. It was awesome. That job, by the way, is available right now. So if you're interested, come to me after. But I also realized that I wanted to grow in my, I wanted to fill this gap in my education with knowledge about marketing and all of those things. So I started learning more about marketing, and I applied for a more strategic marketing position. I got that position. I started working really hard there, really learning a lot. I guess most of you guys are doing similar stuff, but working on yourself is like, nobody really does that, right? Like, I was spending, like, say for the last 5 years, I spend between 4 and 6 hours per day educating myself, like reading, or like just doing good stuff, like reading, doing meditation, a workout, making healthy food, watching some interesting YouTube stuff. Like, most people just wake up, go to work, go home, eat, watch TV, sleep, maybe some Candy Crush in the meantime. Like, it's not that black and white. Like, I have my occasional pizza, but but by doing that, I was improving a lot as a person, and I got offered a management position in the company. Took that on, started managing people. That was awesome as well. You learn so much doing that. Like, if you're reading like some good management or leadership books, you learn something new. You go to work the next day, you apply straight away, and then you go home and you read the next thing. And nobody does that, so it's so easy to stand out from the rest. And it's a tough world. Like, corporate-wise, I guess some of you know how it's sometimes it's like you're struggling, you're fighting, you have all the the corporate politics, which is a good thing, by the way. Like everybody says, like, yeah, I want to get things done. I want to hustle, and you say, like, yeah, so corporate politics. No, no, I don't do that. Like, no, no, you want to get things done. It's very important. So I kept growing there, and I learned everything about casino and sports betting as well, because this was like a multi-product company. Up to the point where I was making most of the advising on the biggest decisions of the biggest marketing campaigns that we were doing, involving a lot of money, on the risk that we would take. Like this company was going to give away €1 million if Belgium would win the Euros last year. Like that was basically me kind of making the calculation of, is it possible or not? So I got lots of respect there from all that knowledge I accumulated over the years. And then 1 month ago, I decided to quit and come back to Belgium. So it's probably the biggest bluff in my life by just telling my boss, okay, I resign. I'm doing my 3 months now, my notice. And I'm gonna come to Belgium. I'm going to be a consultant, mainly in online gambling as well. I'm going to try, but I think it's probably the biggest gamble, but also the one I'm most confident about. That what I've built over all those years, like from the early days with running all the events in Belgium, all the way to the corporate stuff in London. I'm quite confident that it's going to work out pretty well. I'm going to make lots of money, hopefully. Moving your ego to the side and learning, and never stop learning as you go along. That was something huge that I've always kept in the back of my mind. Sometimes showing up is enough to get what you want. Like people are so lazy. Like if you have a business idea and it involves catering for lazy people, then I'm willing to invest in that. So let me know. Like it's so big. And then I think if you're willing to learn and you are willing to do the work, because they say like 10,000 hours, 20,000 hours to mastery. Like I've done my 20,000 hours. That's why I'm confident now to do this. Because if you are willing to learn and if you're willing to do the work, you can achieve some really cool things along the way. That's it, really. Q&A, please. What do you guys think? Like relatable, not relatable at all? You want to know more about the gambling stuff, or?
Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Oh my God, it's like a job interview. No, good question. Okay, I would say owning my own company, having at least 10 employees. Yeah.
When you moved to London, how did you approach that? Have you been to London before moving there, or was it something completely new?
I had been there once when I was 12 years old.
So it was something completely new as an adult. So how did the transition go?
Yeah.
Mentally and...
It was awful.
Yeah.
It was one of the lowest points of my life. Like I remember having to move there. Like I got the job, right? So that was good news. But then having to move there and finding a place to live. I went there like 2 weeks before I had to start for 4 days in a hotel to find a place. And if I wouldn't find a place, I would basically have nowhere to live because I didn't know the people in the company.
One quick question. When you start off in the corporate world, did you take an apprenticeship? Did you go to university, or how did you get started?
Kind of got lucky. I got like some job in a company that I did like a student work thing for. I think overall, if you want to work in corporate world, like don't be too selective on the first job. And as soon as you land the first job, start looking at another job already. Like just to get you started. Like if you work for, like if I would have to start all over again, I would not have any kind of degree, and I couldn't find like a nice job. I would just start working for, say, IKEA or something like that. Like some big brand that people know. Like, oh, you work for IKEA. Rather than some, like some small company where you do something, I don't know. And then when you have that on your CV and you work there for a while, then yeah.
So you did not go to university, or did you?
No.
Okay.
To give like that part, when I was 18, I came to it's quite funny. I came to Ghent for, I was gonna study marketing, but I only lasted 5 months and I was like, fuck this shit, I'm out of here. Then I worked at Volvo trucks in Oostakker for 7 months. And on the first day I got there, the guy who was like my partner I had to work with, he said like, I don't like your face. I'm not gonna enjoy working here until you leave, and you're gonna leave soon, you know, like that. Working in shifts and the truck assembly line, I learned more than in my whole education combined about people. And then I went to Antwerp to study hotel. I succeeded the first year. Second year I was playing too much poker, and then I...
Can you share something about your financial growth?
What do you want to know about my financial growth?
It's part of it, right?
Huh?
It's part of it, you know.
Yeah, of course, of course. Yeah, I think I learned it the hard way as well. Like when I did that job at Volvo, I made a lot of money, and then I started traveling a lot and hanging out with baller poker players while also making a little bit of money from poker, but not as much as those guys. And I think I made like 20,000 euros in the months I worked at Volvo, 15,000, whatever. And that money was gone in a couple of months. So I had to like start from scratch again. And then I think overall, like valuing the value of money. Like if you do something that's expensive, always think if it's actually value for money. Like I just came back from a trip to Thailand. I flew in business class. There I stayed in like a hotel with a private pool and all those things, but all of that was value. Like the hotel room had like a private like ocean view, like infinity pool thing, but the mini bar was like €1.50 for a beer. So it's like, even in those things, like always understanding what you are paying for and if it's worth that. And then I think it's mainly about increasing income. I think if you,
That is more the
yeah,
way how you look at spending money.
yeah,
I
yeah,
really like your growth in your career
yeah.
and your financial growth next to it.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to say that I try to not change my lifestyle as my income grows, but then I flew in business class, so I totally failed that. So it's, yeah, I'm in financial growth. I just read the new Tony Robbins book and like some other financial books on you know, John Bogle and Vanguard and low index tracker funds with, you know, low costs and no active management and whatever. Like, I mean, there's a lot there, I think. In general, I mean, I got a bit lucky with, like, I bought a flat, I rented it out, I sold it now, it's worth a lot more money. So you get like these, but I mean, I've never been in a situation where I wasn't able to save, for example, and that makes it comfortable for me. Like, so I don't know if you're only just getting by, I wouldn't know how to start saving or anything like that. So. There was like, did you have a question earlier?
The lack of a degree, has it ever stopped you from getting a job or a position? Because there's a lot of people who have a lot of degrees and who suck at their job.
Yes.
But if you know lots more than them, but do you have the degree?
Yeah.
How do you get past that?
Okay.
Without oral sex?
So two things. Like, one thing. No. I would not want to work for a company that would discriminate based on that. So if I see it even in the job description, then I wouldn't even apply for it because I don't want it. Like if that's how the company works, then.
These days, if you see an opening, they always want.
Or just apply.
Years of experience.
Yeah, you need experience to get a job, and you need a job to get experience, right? Yeah. So I would just apply and see what happens. Like, yeah, I think that. And the other one, yeah, I'm pretty sure if I would continue my career the way I'm doing, I would not make it to executive management because I don't have a university degree and an MBA. It's quite, like, that's normal. Like, I wouldn't expect that to happen. Like, and that's also what I realize now. If I want to be the CEO of a company, I'd better start my own company. So, yeah, I've been a bit lucky and, like, that's why I wanted to build as much experience and knowledge as possible in a certain niche. And that's worth much more than any kind of, like, you cannot get in a degree what I know. And it is valuable for companies that have a lot of money. So that's kind of how I cycled around that. Yeah?
What would you do if money were no object?
What, sorry?
What would you do if money were no object?
If if money were no object.
So like if you put your entire financial
Yeah,
stuff away,
yeah.
what would you do instead of making money?
You didn't have to make money whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, actually, like I just went on a 2-week trip to Thailand, right? I mean, I was bored like hell. Like, I was just like in paradise at like whatever, and I'm just like, oh fuck, I wanna, because okay, I said like the money is important, whatever, but I think now it's more about growing something, like building a company. Like I would still like if there was no money, if let's say I have money that doesn't exist, I would still want to build a company that grows and that achieves certain things, regardless of money. I think it's much more about that, and then being able to prove that I can do that, or to see other people grow because I'm coaching them and leading them, like that kind of stuff. It's a lot more important to me than money. Like I say it like a little bit as a joke. Do you have time for tomorrow? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, you first.
How did you keep motivating yourself to keep pushing forward? Like,
Mm.
I can imagine you had some rough times. How did you keep motivating yourself to just keep pushing?
I think like from doing it for myself, like I'm not, and saying this like more, I'm not expecting anything from anyone. So I don't feel like my company owes me anything. I don't feel like my boss owes me anything. I don't, like none of those things. So I'm just doing it for me. And then, I mean, I went through like some rough times as well. And usually what motivates me a lot is the people. Like the people, I mean, it's fluffy, but like the people you work with, the fact that you can give them energy and they give the energy back, like that whole exchange. And I'm the type of guy, like when I walk in the office in the morning, I have like eye contact, like from the door to my spot with like 20 different people, like saying good morning, like yo, like this kind of stuff. And that energizes me a lot. And to get those positive things back, it's just about like I never had a bad day, or if I had, they wouldn't see it. Always cheerful. Other people are like, pain body, like half the day, like never allowing that from yourself, and then you get a lot back. And then it depends on which company, obviously. Like I'm lucky enough to be working for lots of young people and nice people and cool people from all over the world. If you're working in like an accountancy firm with like some 50-year-olds, it's a bit more difficult. But then you're just a cool young person, and it's a little bit like when you go to the supermarket and you go to the cashier, and they are just they're in their dur state, like and then you can get like an authentic reaction from them, like, oh hey, thank you, and you say it in the nice way, and you get something back. That gives me a lot of energy, and it's similar stuff at work. Yeah.
You told that you made yourself indispensable.
Yeah.
I can totally see how that works from your kind of
Yeah.
sector, because you're the only one that could make those kind of calculations. But can you do that in any type of job, you think?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't done the other ones, so it's difficult to judge. Does anyone have like an example of like a sector or something? Logistics. Yeah, I guess so. Like, I guess logistics is something that is quite boring until something goes wrong, and then stuff needs to be fixed. So if things go wrong and people just look at you because they know you're gonna fix the problem, that's when you're indispensable, I think, for example. I mean, I don't know how it works or how the whole business works, but that's a good example. And to achieve that is just like when something goes wrong, everybody will be like turning around, and you're just always the one who does it. And they always tell you in the beginning of your career, like, don't help too much because they're always gonna come to you after that, but that's not true. That's a lie. Like, always help, and they will always come to you, but that's how you achieve that.
If you were to break down your mindset or your view of things,
Yeah.
how would you explain it in a way that that got you to the place where you are right now?
Mm-hmm.
Like the mindset that got you to where you are now.
Yeah. I guess like not having ego. I think that's like massive, like throughout the whole thing, because it makes you. I mean, I'm like a cocky guy, but I'm also humble in a way. like, I mean, you might not see it right now, but I'm actually, you know, by willing, I think, so that then willing to do the work, always being in a good mood, that's massively underestimated. Like never letting your personal trouble, whatever it is, shine through, always focused on the job. And yeah, kind of openness as well. Like, yeah, never, like, I mean, people do stuff like, it's like someone says like, oh yeah, so I finished that in the weekend, right? You know, and then they're saying that, so their boss will think, oh, they worked in the weekend. That's good. Someone worked in the weekend. Nice. You know, like never doing that kind of stuff. Always like super authentic. Like, you know, those things. I think that just that honesty, authenticity, that helped a lot.